Hello, everyone. First of all, very congratulations to all of you for scoring such a great and high marks in FR and SBR. To introduce everyone, first of all, Manasa scored 86 in FR, right? And Keval scored 71 in SBR. Rasi scored 71 in SBR, and Sankari scored 76 in SBR. Guys, first of all, I'll tell you that this is not a small achievement. This is a very big achievement. Scoring like 70 plus marks in SBR or scoring 85 plus marks in FR is not a small deal. It's a really a very big deal, because I'll tell you, in SBR, passing is easy, okay? Because there are around 40-50 marks, which is very easy scoring. But scoring above 70 is not a small feat, okay? So that's really a very big achievement, I'll say, okay? Now, so I'll quickly jump to a few questions, which I already noted down to discuss with you guys. That see, since you guys have already appeared for the paper and scored good marks, I really want to understand what was your strategy for the paper. Tell me. To start with, I can start with FR first for Mansa.
So strategy per se is very simple. Keep either your BPP workbook or Kaplan workbook as your base. Ensure you do it end to end, whether it's illustrations, examples, and whatever. Secondly, whatever notes and examples and sums your teachers do in class is very important, even if it's directly from the revision kit or it's something of their own. Third is revision kit is, I think, the most important. You'll get at least 75 marks out of it, like directly in the exam. The concepts will be right out there. Questions will be framed a little differently. And there will be some tricks and difficult questions, but don't give up. Do it by yourself and then go back to the answers and check. Yeah, basically.
So I think you have told a very wonderful point, that what the tendency of the students are, like they first read the question and they'll again tend to read the answer and then try to match their thinking, right? So I used to tell this in the class also, that don't follow this approach. Read the question, try to answer, and then try to match your answer with the suggested answers, and then see where is the gap and then work on that gap.
Yes.
Right. So that's a very wonderful point that you have said. Okay. For SBR, starting with Keval, come on, tell me, what was your strategy?
Actually, I'm going to tell honestly. First lecture, I watched your class of Lizzie's. Actually, in CA, I left Lizzie's. But after watching you, it became so much clear. No, I gained confidence that yes, I can pass SBR at that point of time. I think it was second lecture actually.
Okay.
Yeah. So that was a strategy. Strategy was really simple. Just I watch your lectures, read the sums as you told. First of that, then go on to the same exam kit and just did the same concept sums. Okay. It was actually your strategy only, that do your sums as you were saying. That was a simple strategy. Then after that, I was just highlighting the points that I need to revise again. So I was not like that, and at the exam that I was using all the things. I highlighted few points that I need to review at the exam day. That.
Wonderful.
So that was a strategy. That was a simple strategy I had.
Wonderful. Okay. Going to Sankari, you tell me, like, what was the strategy that you followed, like while the classes were going on, or in the last 15 days?
Strategy, I would say I have the main focused on the conceptual clarity and the practice. It is the most important thing. To have a conceptual clarity, you have played so much important role in that, because your teaching is the best. And after lecture, I used to prepare my own notes. I refer your notes, then BPP notes. With that all material, I used to prepare my notes. In that notes, I used to focus on the why part. Like I used to write all the logic behind every concept. For example, why IS 17 is replaced by IFRS 16. I have written down all that in my notes. So for after every lecture, I used to prepare it. And then the second thing is practice. Practice is of so much important. And with that practice, I make sure that my each and every doubt is getting clear. So even if it's a smallest doubt, I make sure that my doubt is getting clear. So these are the most important thing that I use to clear the SBR.
Wonderful, wonderful. So you said 2 points very logically, that after the class, you used to make your notes. What happens generally, I teach CA final as well. So what happens generally in CA final, when I give to my students concept capsules, they say that this is the only thing that they have to refer. They think that, okay. But I always say that, see, that notes is made as per my requirements or what I feel a student should require in general. But that is not for specifically for you. So you should always prepare a concept capsule that is made for your requirements, what suits you the best, okay? Because
Yes.
a different set of candidates might have different like set of capabilities. So a concept capsule should be made according to your capabilities. Okay, wonderfully said, Sankari. Coming to Rasi, same question.
And I would say, like, I really followed your advice. I attended your first lecture where you mentioned, like, attend the live sections, clear your doubts, revise the notes immediately after the classes. And yes, that was the wonderful thing. I would say keeping a regularity with the course is something really required. As mentioned by Shankari, even I used to make my notes. Like whatever you used to write, I used to read the BPP module, and then on a summarized model, I used to summarize everything so that what I need to revise on the last day, we need to prepare from the day one, I would say.
Right, right, wonderful. So you said again, you everyone is saying one like a very brilliant point, that regularity in the class is very much required. See, whoever has scored good marks, I have seen that all of them have attended live lectures properly, like whether it be Sankari, whether it be Manasa, whether it be Rasi. But I think Keval, you are from my
No.
recorded batch, right?
Yes, recorded.
So, so regularity is what is required. Okay, if you are attending all the lectures properly and discussing with your faculty, if you are getting any queries, that's what is required to succeed in the exams.
I remember, sir, like I just missed one of your lecture and I did repented why I missed. That was I had meeting in the office. That was a weekday class. Otherwise, I attended all the live sessions because with regularity, spending first 2 hours of the day, I think that is the time we absorb maximum things.
Right. Wonderful. Wonderful. So again, I get so many times I get queries from the students who are doing taking classes from me, or they are not taking classes from me. They ask me one doubt always. See, in my class generally I refer BPP material, right? But they ask me, sir, whether I am required to refer Kaplan as well. Shall I practice all the questions of Kaplan as well? So what is your strategy? What you guys follow? Tell me.
Okay, I'll make a start here. Like, to be very honest, we do not have that much time where we can practice everything. So we have to restrict to one author. Do that more religiously than just following everything. Later on, you would be at a situation what to revise. If you're gonna follow, because the language would be difficult, and later on to mug up, it would be tough situation. So I always, whether it was my CA, whether it was my BCom, I always followed one author. I have never tried comparing other, because we get confused more, and reading the same thing doesn't give you better clarity. It is better to have the concept clarity. And I think one author does cover everything. I followed all the revision kits. I couldn't complete 100%, but yes, did maximum, followed the technical articles, but BPP was the first thing that I did. Along with your
I would
notes.
agree on the same. And I have referred Kaplan for other subjects. For BPP, I have referred, for SBR, I have referred BPP only. But I would say the quality of both the BPP and Kaplan are same. So main focus in on whatever you are practicing, make sure you are doing it in a right way. It doesn't matter how many questions you have solved. What matters is with which quality of questions with which you are solved. Your doubts are getting solved by your faculty. It is important. I would say quality is important over quantity.
Wonderfully said. Wonderful. What about you, Keval?
Actually, I was in so much hurry. I followed one book only, as you referred, because I prepared in 1.5 months I had. So I was really fast.
That's really great.
So I followed, you said follow BPP. So I taken one book of BPP and just follow. I didn't look at Kaplan as well till now.
Okay.
So I have no idea about Kaplan. So I followed BPP only till now. So that works great for me. And the one point that was that how to analyze. I think it was very difficult for me from the CA background that we were doing all accounting work. But you told in one of the lectures that we have to analyze. We don't need to do the accounting work more. Now we have to analyze more.
Agreed.
So that perspective, I think this time I changed, and I think that helped me in getting the good marks.
Right. So before I move on to Manasa for the same question, but I want to quickly summarize here this point. See what happens when a student moves from either from ACCA FR to SBR or from CA Final FR to SBR. What happens? They are still in the accounting mode. They are still in the accounting mode. So when it comes a question of group accounting, they feel that, oh, I have to prepare the consolidated FS. No, not required. So the mode has to be changed now. You have to get the understanding. You have to get the understanding. Now you have to analyze things. Because understand, if you go in a practical world, we as a chartered accountant or as an ACCA, we are not going to sit and do all the consolidation FS, right? For that, a general accountant can also do it all. We as an accountant, we have to see the world is growing now, and we are also required to grow. We will get the money, we'll get the higher package, we'll get the higher salary for our analytical skills, right? So we have to start analyzing things. We have to start understanding and interpreting the standards, and how can we communicate it better to the investor or the stakeholders, right? Now, same question to you, Mansa, for whether BPP, Kaplan, or both.
I strongly suggest not both, primarily because of what Rashi and Shankari said. You will neither finish BPP nor will you finish Kaplan, and you will be in a state of lack of preparation at the end of it. Because we tend to focus, for example, if I'm doing section A, I will want to do it in both books, section B in both books, and I practically cannot complete. And both the books are of the same level or same standard. I don't see much of a difference.
Right,
So
right.
I'd always prefer if all of us stick to just one book, do it religiously, be it once or twice, you're going to get the same level of difficulty in both in X% of the sums.
Right.
So focus on those, find your weaknesses, find your strengths, capitalize on your strengths, and work on your weaknesses, and you'll crack it at the end of it.
Definitely, I totally agree. So basically, as all of you have rightly said that, even I believe that, see, whether it's BPP or Kaplan, okay, they will have same level, all of the concepts. Now, yes, you can say that the Kaplan has a little bit more set of questions as compared to BPP, but BPP has the questions which are very much relevant for you. Okay, so it just filters out the questions which are a little bit less relevant and makes up. So see, because as we know that in whether in SBR or FR, a student has very less time to study, right? Because we have just 2.5 months, and a few students like Keval who start their exams, who start their preparation after the results. Okay, so for them it becomes really more difficult to finish the syllabus in 1.5 months or 2 months. So for them,
I am
it's
in,
like,
sir, I am in that category only. After
okay,
result,
even you.
yes.
Oh, see,
And,
so if
and
you
even
guys
sir,
can do it in
today
2
I'm
months,
also on the same state. I was waiting for
right?
the result. I haven't planned anything. What I need to do next. I'm just
Now,
texting, sir, please guide which subject.
so in 2 months, if you have to prepare for a professional level paper, it's not practically possible to solve all the set of questions, right? So you have to ensure that whatever you are solving with quality rather than quantity, as said rightly by all of you. Wonderful, wonderful. Now, again, a query comes to me that, sir, in the last 24 hours of the exam, I'm really not able to revise everything. Whether like it's the study material or whether it's a revision kit, I will definitely not be able to solve all the questions. I will not be able to revise all the concepts. If I not revise, definitely I'll forget in the exam. So how should I go ahead in that? So what is your suggestion in that?
I'll start with that.
Yeah.
So for that, I have referred only and only notes prepared by me. So in that notes, what I have done is while practicing the question, wherever I made the mistake, I have noted down what mistakes I have made as guided by you only, what mistakes I have made. And I work on that. So I refer that only. So day before the exam, I am focused only on my mistakes because other questions I'm able to solve. I know that. I'm focused only on the concepts and the mistakes that I've made. So I did not go for all the question practice and referring each and every concept. I did not do that because that pressure I can't handle that pressure so much doing everything and all. So I stick to my notes only and the mistakes I have made. Just 2 things
Wonderful,
only.
wonderful, wonderful. What about you, Rashi?
Here, sir, I would like to make a start. Like it's not only for the last 24 hours. I think I started preparing for those 24 hours 15 days prior to it. First
Wonderful.
job was to complete all the studies. We were over with the classes. By that time, one-time study was already done. So now it was time to revise everything on all those 14 days, so that in the last day, on the last day, we can just see the highlights, just the summaries. Because to refresh, that is much more important, because even if I have read, I have attended the class, but if I have not refreshed everything, so that might not be of much use in the exam, because we need to learn, have that particular concept clarity along. And to brush up, that is much more important. So I prepared last 14-15 days, again, the way you guided, where we need to start referring to technical articles, solving the questions along with your notes, along with the BPP, and just highlighting what all we need to refer on the last day. And yes, I remember the summary that you shared, what goes where to the OCI and the PNL, that summary we have to revise at the last stage. So I think in last day, we can never revise everything what we have done throughout the 2.5 months. So it's better just to see the highlights and prepare prior to it.
Understand. Totally acceptable. What about you, Keval?
Okay, so actually the strategy was somewhat different. I used your strategy like to revise every day. So the chapter of leases was very simple at last for me. I was just turning page for leases only, because it was so much read, no. So leases, some chapters were really easy. Yes, I can do it in few minutes or few hours.
Okay.
There were some chapters like group account that we did last time. So that needs to be seen. So I always highlighted the point when you, after the record lectures, I used to go to study material, highlight the points that I need to revise again. So that used to filter. In exam kit also, I used to filter out all the things that I need to revise again, or it is a new point for me I have faced for the first time. So that highlighted points, that revision really helped me, that I do revise every day. So first day, second day, then third day, I do revise first day, second day, then fourth day, first day, second day, third day. So that really helped me.
That cumulative study, which I told in the first class orientation lecture.
Yes.
Wonderful. So generally, I say that cumulative study in all the classes, okay, whether it's FR, SBR, or AAA, in all the batches. But very rare, very few students I find they are following that strategy. But if you follow that, it's a really because what happens if you is revising class 1 for the first time, and then you go to class 2 and revising class 1. So what happens? Class 1 becomes so strong that if you have to revise it, you can revise in a fraction of minutes. And class 1 for every standard is the base. And if your base is strong, all the chapter will again become very easy for you to understand, right? What about you, Mansa?
So
What was
I
your strategy?
prepared my notes, and in FR that we know for sure either a group accounting or single entity is going to come, and the other one is definitely interpretation.
Right.
So those are 40 marks. So the first I'll talk about the 60 marks. So for 60 marks, since it's MCQs, we strengthen our concepts and try to reduce the time we take per question.
Right.
So you keep practicing, get stronger on the concepts, know how to calculate your depreciation or lease payments, like have a pro forma in your head and write it down and keep it. For the 20 markers for interpretation, there will be 3-4 points that you can write for every ratio, for gross profit, net profit. So I had a concise set of points for each ratio, which I read through the previous day. And for consolidation, there is a set of adjustments that you'll get. More or less, you'll be able to gauge. There'll be about 12, one relating to inventory. So I made it into different batches, property, plant, equipment, inventory, etc. And I revised all the adjustments the day before. And it's the same for single entity. So that made it easier. And for the other 60 marks, I just had small notes, which helped me towards the end.
Right.
So I just revised the notes.
If I can say, I have your message that we scored 98% in section C.
Yes, sir.
And also, in section C, we have 2 questions. One is from a single entity and one is from a group accounting, right? So she scored 100% in single entity, like it was 20 out of 20, and 98% in group accounting. So that was a score. That's really wonderful marks.
Thank
you. Scoring 20 out of 20 is not a small deal. Okay.
That was interpretation, and
okay, that was interpretation.
It was
scoring
tricky.
20 in interpretation is again a big deal, I can say. Right? Because interpretation is a lot about your logic, your justification about things, right? Your reasoning about things. So Because if you are talking about a group accounting or a question on financial statements preparation, it's all about numbers. If your numbers are correct, you are getting marks for it. If your logic and reasoning is correct, so I think you are much more oriented towards SBR before even appearing for SBR.
Thank you.
So
sir.
wonderful, wonderful. Now coming to my last question, did you appear for mock exams, all of you? Starting with Mansa, how many mocks you appeared?
I gave 6 more.
6 mocks. That does matter.
Yes, sir.
That does matter.
So,
So,
so my first mock did not go very well. And in every mock, I never evaluated the interpretation question because it's very subjective.
Right.
I can give myself 20, 18, 16, but it's at the end of the day up to the evaluator to give us the true scores. So I tried my best to get at least 40 plus out of the MCQs, out of 60 marks.
right.
My first mock was 32, and that demotivated me, and I was very upset. But instead of getting upset, all I did was find out the mistakes, find out the areas where I was conceptually weak and silly mistakes. Like it's nice to say that it was very few conceptual and everything was silly mistakes. Started from copying numbers wrong from the screen to the calculator.
Right.
So it was a lot of carelessness. So the next mock I gave, I was more focused. And every mock, I gave myself only 2 hours, 40 minutes. So I always, because I remember in class, you told us if we stick to the time per question, we will have extra time in the end to go back to the flagged questions, which is important.
Exactly.
And if there was a tough or a tricky or a slightly higher level question in the 2 markers, I would flag it and move on. Because in case I get stuck, I didn't want to lose time.
Right.
So at each mock, I gave it like I was giving the final exam in the same environment, same conditions. So, and I also try to give it between 1:30 to 4:30 because that's the exam slot I took.
Wonderful. Wonderful.
So that made me get more concentration, confidence as I went by. And my last mock was my best, and that was 2 days before the exam. So I think I went with a lot of confidence.
Okay.
But
Wonderful.
I always would tell people not to give mocks like 4 days before the exam, from 4
Yes.
days before.
That can lower down the
Because
confidence.
either it will boost your confidence too much that you will chill for the next 3 days and say, I know everything. Or it will kill your confidence to a point where you might want to just skip the attempt, which
Right.
both extremes are bad. So it's better to not give any mocks. Trust your notes, trust your teacher's notes, and go for it. So your strategies really worked for me. And your notes, your revision sessions really helped me get 86.
Thank you. Thank you. But it's a hard work that at the end matters. But yes, see, what we have to do is we have to plan out things properly. And I believe that you have planned out things properly. And once you are telling that you scored 32, I believe you messaged me even after that.
Yes,
Is that I scored this much only. So we had a discussion, I believe, around that. What
Yes,
about
it
you,
was-
Keval?
I didn't. I gave one mock only because
Okay.
time was actually less because I have a job also. I have everything. So
Right.
and actually I was giving 2 papers this time. So
Okay.
SBR was there, ATX was there. So I gave one mock test. It was around, I think I scored 35, around 35 or 40 I scored. So I felt bad. But what I did, I noted all the mistakes down in my diary. Okay, this is the mistakes I have done. This is I need to do now in few days. So let's catch up with that and just go for the exam with a positive return. That's it.
Wonderful. 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 What about you, Rasi?
I'll be very honest, sir. I didn't appear for any of the mocks. I just tried one paper, question paper over the CBE module,
Okay.
where it took so long writing down 2 questions. They were so lengthy for me to write down. And every time a persistence, I would say I was having what to write, where to write. I was losing the confidence. So I decided I'll try my best and practice more on the internal side if I know the concept, because the questions are not going to be same. I need to understand how to analyze, then to try and crack. It was little demoralizing for me to actually try onto the screen. But yes, the 2 questions that I did that gave me confidence when I was in front of screen, where I could see, yes, the scenario is something similar. That's not something strange world I'm entering into. So, but as an advice, this was my miss that I did. So I would advise people, they need to give at least 1-2 mocks. It would
Right.
prepare you more. So this was my lagging point, which I'll take care in future for other subjects.
So you have to take care of it in the next papers, because I believe if you had have given the mocks, your marks would have been much higher than 71.
Exactly. So
Right?
I do feel this was a gap.
Yeah. So this is a learning. So what happens generally when you give mock, you get a learning. But if you don't give mock, your exam becomes a learning.
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
So what about you, Sankari?
My condition was the same. I only attempted one mock.
Okay.
The time mock was taking so much of time, solving mock, then analyzing it. So what I did, I solved the mock, but I did not solve in a timely conditions. What I did,
Okay.
I took the one question at a time. That question I solved in a timely manner. Like first
Understood.
question, 30 marks. So 1.8 marks per minute, like that logic. So I gave
Right.
54 minutes. And after solving that question, I directly jumped to analyze my questions with the answer. And then after that, I refer the examiner's report. So I analyze it twice by the answers, with the answers, and then after with the examiner's report. Likewise, I did the mock. I didn't do that in a timely manner, but I solved in this manner, I solved 3 mocks.
Okay.
First question, then referring my answer, and then referring examiner's report. In
Understood.
timely manner, I gave only 1 mock and I failed in that mock. So it was really demoralizing.
So I remember my teacher used to tell me that in Hindi used to tell me, एग्जाम के पहले इतना बार एग्जाम दो कि एग्जाम के दिन एग्जाम का डर ही नहीं लगे.
Yes.
So this is what he used to tell me, and since then I have got this learning, and I always impart this learning to my students. So that's what he used to do. And Mansa rightly told that, see, in every mock that she was giving, she was getting a learning out of it. In first test that she gave, learning she got was focus. That she has to be focused towards reading the question properly. See, in SBR, it's more of an orientation, like more of an application. In FR, even if you don't read even a single word, your answer is wrong. And if your answer is wrong, it's wrong.
Yes.
But in SBR, it's not the case. If your answer is wrong or if your answer is right, it is still right. Your
Right.
justification should be right.
Yes.
Right. So that's the difference between FR and SBR. So
It's
now
0 or 2, sir.
it's
and
0 or it's 0 or
There's
2.
no
right?
way out of it.
There's no way out. So in SBR, it's neither 0 nor 2. Right? You cannot score even 0 or you cannot score even full marks. So you have to lie somewhere in between.
Yes.
That's about SBR. So now, also, so I will focus. See, it's not about giving 6 mocks. Also, it's not about giving more 1 mock. See, even if you're giving 1 mock properly, see, I think that's sufficient. Okay, 1 or 2 mocks giving properly is sufficient. And now, if you want to give multiple mocks, you can break, as Ankari told, right? You can break the test papers into multiple parts, because always giving in a 3-hour time frame might not be possible for everyone, right? Because everyone is doing job. So, and both of are equal priority. So might be possible for a skill level, but not be possible for a professional level, right? So that's what. So what you have to do is you have to manage according to your requirements, right?
Yes.
Now, one more question, not for you, Manasa, specifically for the ones who are working here. Okay, how difficult it was for you guys to manage your studies along with the job?
I'll start here. For me, it was really very tough. Like doing CA was quite okay if I compare the experience I had doing the ACCA first exam, because I was appearing for the exams or even studying after 11 years of gap. I'm 2010 CA qualified. I have family to look after. I'm looking after office, having the late night meetings, working for the UK companies. So definitely we have long stretched hours. It wasn't easy. But yes, the only thing that I tried was a regularity, attending the classes. But yes, being a mother also, it was adding to the flavors, like how difficult scenarios could be there. Whenever I planned tomorrow, I'm gonna try and cover the group accounts or something, the client used to call, I need something on priority. So as a strategy here, I would say be regular so that on the last day, you do not keep everything pending. But yes, at end, what mattered, seeing the result, I would say it's like concept clarity and maintaining the regularity. I would say that is the key mantra for me. I followed your advice. I was regular into classes. I revised your notes on daily basis because I never knew tomorrow would I be available to attend the class or not.
Right.
So
right.
for me, that was the key mantra, I would say.
Understood. Understood. So who's next?
Sir,
Even-
I am a full-time student. I used
Okay.
to work in a CA firm, but
Okay.
then I decided that I wanted to focus on my studies right now. So I
Okay.
terminated that thing.
That's also great. What
But I
about you,
did the
Keval?
same thing. I
Okay.
quit working and then I said I'll finish exams. It was getting too much. They
Yeah,
would give
see,
me
it's a
leave the day
priority that-
before
right.
and they'll give us 2 days leave. One is the day before the exam, on the day of the exam. And then if you go back the next day, they'll say, oh, we gave you 2 days leave. And that was not vacation. I was
Right.
studying and then
Right.
I'm back. So
It's not
weekend, they'll
practical.
say you took 2 days, come back the weekend, but then classes start.
Right.
So
right.
with a lot of things, I said I'll quit working. I was also working in
Okay,
a CA
okay.
firm.
That's great. That's
Okay,
great.
that's it. So my turn. So actually, what I did was I was studying at the morning. So I know that after job I would not be in a condition to study anything. So what I did, I studied for 1 or 2 hours in the morning,
Okay.
and at weekends I used to cover at stretch. Yeah, starting it was 3 to 4 hours. Then at the during the exam period it was stretched to 8 to 10 hours. So during job it is quite a difficult. Sometimes if I get some time in lunch, I used to revise the notes also sometimes.
Right.
So and I was also when I started the course, I was also very lazy about studying about it. But my father told me that if you're not serious, then you don't care. So you don't need to do it. Do it if you're do it properly. So I said, okay, I will do it.
Wonderful, wonderful. So that's basically it's all about a priority. If you are able to manage, then manage properly. If you are not, then focus on one thing. As rightly said by Sankari and Manasa, I really appreciate that part. Okay, so you have to decide on things and take a decision at the right time. Okay, so that's all. I'll wish all of you a great career ahead, and some of you will meet sometime. Yeah, definitely. So, and if any one of you are anytime in Bangalore, we will meet. Manasa, definitely we are having a catch up, right? In Sunday, right? We'll catch up. So definitely.
So,
Let's meet on that note. Thank you guys. Thank you all of you.
Yeah.
Bye bye.
thank you,
Bye.
sir.
Thank you
And
so
wish you
much,
all
sir.
the best for your future. Bye bye.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Bye,
Thank
sir.
you.
Bye-bye.